sometimes in Spanish, you'll want to talk about getting somewhere, achieving something, or even catching up. There's a single word that can handle all of that, and it's used all the time in everyday conversation. Let's take a closer look at how it works and how it shows up in real life situations. The verb I'm talking about is alcanzar. Alcanzar. Alcanzar is a verb that means to reach, to catch up, or to be enough. Now let's look at some common uses of this verb. Alcanzar. Alcanzar. The first common everyday use is to reach physically, if you need to reach something physically. So this is a very, very common meaning of this verb, to reach. For example, no puedo alcanzar el vaso. ¿Me lo pasas? No puedo alcanzar el vaso. ¿Me lo pasas? This sentence means I can't reach the glass. Can you pass it to me? So this is a very, very common situation. If you're short like me, it's a common situation when you need help because you can't reach whatever you need. But let's break this down. Let's see how this sentence works. No means no. It means don't, didn't, won't. It can mean quite a few things. Essentially, this word is just to let you know that there's something negative, something that is not happening, that's something that will not happen, or simply just to say no. So in this situation, no means not, okay? When you say no puedo, this phrase right here means I can't, okay? No puedo. You can't even use it by itself. No puedo. And then just means I can't. And then we have a verb in the infinitive form, which means it's not conjugated. And the verb is alcanzar. Alcanzar. That is what we're learning right now, the verb that we're learning right now. So when you say no puedo alcanzar, that means I can't reach. If you want to use the phrase no puedo and also you want to add more to the sentence, you can use different verbs just like this one. And the only thing you gotta do is you need to place the verb there in the infinitive form. Just use the verb in the infinitive form. So alcanzar, correr, comer, caminar, trabajar, ir, and so on. You can use no puedo and then just add a verb in the infinitive form. And it's great because you can say, I can't eat, I can't work, I can't walk, I can't see. So it's a very useful phrase, the phrase no puedo. No puedo alcanzar, I can't reach. And then we have a noun, vaso. Vaso, remember the V sound in Spanish is similar to the English sound B as in bell. So el vaso means the glass. El is a definite article. It's masculine. Why? Because the noun is masculine. So el vaso means the glass. El means the, vaso means glass. Me is a reflexive pronoun. And it means I, me, or myself in different situations. So in this situation, it means me. Me lo pasas, tú me lo pasas. We don't have tú. We don't need to use subject pronouns all the time, especially in questions. We only use the conjugated verbs. So any conjugated verb, pasas, tú pasas. We don't need tú, we just need pasas. And when you say pasas, that means you pass. Okay, so you pass something. And then we have lo, which means eat. Okay, so pasas means you pass. Lo means eat, okay? So essentially when you say me lo pasas, it means can you pass it to me? Okay? No puedo alcanzar el vaso. ¿Me lo pasas? I can't reach the glass. Can you pass it to me? So that is very interesting. Remember, alcanzar is used when you want to say to reach. It means to reach. And we're talking about something physical, something that you can touch, tangible, something that you can see, right? So like a glass. So you can use alcanzar in that specific situation. Now let's look at the next use of the verb alcanzar. The second common everyday use is to catch up with someone or something. When someone or something is trying to reach the same point as another person or object that is ahead. It's often used in physical movement, progress, or competition. So let's look at an example using alcanzar when it means to catch up. Corrí rápido, pero no alcancé el autobús. Corrí rápido, pero no alcancé el autobús. This means I ran fast but didn't catch the bus. So essentially we're talking about, someone needed to get on the bus, but this person ran really fast, couldn't do it, didn't catch the bus. So it's similar to also saying catch, something like the bus. So let's break this down. Let's see how this sentence works. Corrí, yo corrí. That means I ran. Remember, we don't have to say yo all the time. Subject pronouns are not necessary really unless you want to be very specific. So corrí, I ran. Remember, the conjugated verb tells you what's going on, what subject pronoun you're using. So yo corrí means I ran. Rápido means fast. Pero, but, no alcancé. This is the verb that we're learning right now, alcanzar. Yo no alcancé means I didn't catch. Okay? Didn't catch. The autobús. Autobús means bus. Corrí rápido, pero no alcancé el autobús. I ran fast, but didn't catch the bus. Now, let's look at another example using alcanzar when it means to catch up. Corre más rápido si quieres alcanzarlo. Corre más rápido si quieres alcanzarlo. This means run faster if you want to catch up to him. So this is another easy example. Let's break it down. Corre, tú corre. It's a command. You don't need tú. You need corre, and that means run. Okay, you run. You singular, by the way. Corre, run. Más rápido. That means faster. When you have más plus an adjective, like rápido, lento, alto, bajo, and so on, if you add más, you're adding like the term ER. Faster, slower, taller, shorter, and so on. So más plus an adjective does that. So when you say más rápido, it means faster. Okay? Si, if, quieres, tú quieres. We don't need tú. We need quieres. And quieres means you want. Okay? And let's include to as well. You want to do something. Alcanzarlo. Alcanzar we have the verb right here. Alcanzar means to catch up or catch up. To in this situation. And then we have lo. And lo in this situation refers to him, or it means him. Corre más rápido si quieres alcanzarlo. That means run faster if you want to catch up to him. We have the verb that we're learning right here. The next use is to achieve or to attain a goal or level. So when talking about achieving something or attaining something, and specifically we're talking about goals or a level. Now, let's look at an example using alcanzar when it means that. Alcanzó su sueño de ser médico. Alcanzó su sueño de ser médico. This means he achieved his dream of becoming a doctor. So if you have a dream or if you want to achieve something, you can use the verb alcanzar for that. Now let's break this down. Let's see how this sentence works. Él alcanzó. We don't need él. You could have it right here. Él alcanzó, and that means he achieved. Okay? But also you could have ella. Ella alcanzó, and that means she. And we have the same conjugation, alcanzó. Okay? So if you want to be specific, you can use subject pronouns. But if you already talked about him, there's no need to continue saying he, or him. Okay? So alcanzó means he achieved. Su means his. It can also mean her. But because we're talking about him, that's why we have his. Sueño means dream. Of. When talking about professions and when, for example, if you want to become a doctor, become a nurse, become an engineer, you can use the verb ser, and then the profession. When you talk about sueño de ser, that means dream of becoming. Okay? And then you add the profession, and we have médico here. And in Spanish, you could say un médico because un means a or a. But in Spanish, when talking about professions, we don't say un or una. Okay? So we could change this to something else. Ser ingeniero, becoming an engineer. And we don't need to put un or una. We don't need that in Spanish. In English, you have it here. But médico means doctor. You could also say doctor, same spelling, and it means doctor. So médico and doctor mean doctor. Excellent. So we see in this situation that someone worked really, really hard to achieve something. So alcanzar, the verb alcanzar is right here. Alcanzó. So that person achieved something. Okay, so that is great. You can use the verb alcanzar for that situation. The next use of the verb alcanzar is when something is enough or sufficient. Alcanzar can mean to be enough or sufficient when you have enough of something. For example, ¿te alcanza el dinero para el almuerzo? ¿Te alcanza el dinero para el almuerzo? This means, do you have enough money for lunch? Let's break this down. Te means you, and because it's a question, it's similar to saying do you. Do you have something? Alcanza means have enough. Okay, have enough of something. This is quite interesting because even though alcanzar means to be enough as well, in this situation, we see that it's similar to saying to have enough. So yeah, alcanzar can mean to be enough or to have enough of something. El means the dinero. El dinero in this situation means money. Okay? ¿Te alcanza el dinero? Do you have enough money para means for. And el almuerzo means the lunch. That's the literal translation, but it's similar to saying just lunch. El almuerzo or the lunch. Lunch, the lunch. ¿Te alcanza el dinero para el almuerzo? Do you have enough money for lunch? So alcanzar is right here. You can see it right there. It's very clear. And in this particular situation, we're talking about having enough of something. What? Money. Let's look at another example using alcanzar when it means to be enough or to be sufficient. And by the way, this is meaning number 4, not 6. I don't know why I had 6 there. Okay, so the next example is la comida alcanza para todos. La comida alcanza para todos. And this means the food is enough for everyone. Now, let's break this down. The comida means food. Comida is feminine. It's a feminine noun, and that's why we're saying la. La comida, the food. Alcanza means is enough. Okay? Para, for. Todos means everyone or everybody. So, la comida alcanza para todos. The food is enough for everyone. In this situation, we have alcanzar right here. And alcanzar means to be enough. In the previous example, it meant to have enough. Okay? In this situation, we have to be enough. So, either one, to have enough, to be sufficient, to be enough. That's all good. Let's look at the next one. To reach or impact physically. So this one is quite interesting. Let's look at an example. El fuego alcanzó varias casas en la zona. El fuego alcanzó varias casas en la zona. And this means the fire reached several houses in the area. Okay, so alcanzar means something else here in this situation. It doesn't mean to be enough. It doesn't mean to achieve. It doesn't mean any of that right now. It means something else. So it's all about context. Alcanzar can also be used when talking about situations where, for example, there's a fire or there's a storm or there's a hurricane, some other natural disasters. And obviously it implies direct physical impact. Now let's break this down. Let's see how this sentence works. The fuego means fire. Alcanzó, reached. Okay. Varias, several. Casas, houses. And in, I always say this, in is a very versatile word. It can mean in, on, at. In this situation, it means in. The zona, area. By the way, the Z sound in Spanish is very similar to S. Okay, so zona. El fuego alcanzó varias casas en la zona means the fire reached several houses in the area. Excellent. Now let's look at the last use of the verb alcanzar. Alcanzar can be used when talking about catching someone or something. For example, alcánzalo que se escapa. Alcánzalo que se escapa. So alcánzalo is a common term that you can use to say, hey, catch something or someone. Now, let's look at the translation. Catch him. He's getting away. This situation could be about someone who's running away and someone is saying, alcánzalo, catch him, alcánzalo, que se escapa. He's getting away. Now, let's break this down. Alcánzalo means catch him. Alcanza is the verb alcanzar, and then we have lo, which means him. Okay? Alcánzalo, catch him. Que means what or that, but in this situation, we don't have it. Then we have se escapa, él se escapa. You don't need él, and that means he's getting away. Okay? Escapa comes from the verb escapar, which means to get away. Se refers to him. Okay? Se is a reflexive pronoun and it can be used for él, ella, he, she, or even it. Se refers to him or he. I know that this is not the gerund. You could say se está escapando. He is getting away, and that works the same. It's the same thing. But you can also say se escapa, and it's very similar to saying he's getting away. Okay? And que is just connecting, alcánzalo and se escapa. You could say just alcánzalo se escapa, and that's also okay. You can say that. You don't have to say que. But que is like connecting both in a way. Alcánzalo que se escapa. Catch him because he's getting away. So it's similar to saying that. Now you know different uses of the verb alcanzar. It can mean quite a few things, but all of them are very common and very important to learn for sure. Practice your Spanish by sharing more examples using alcanzar. If you like this lesson, please give it a like. That helps me a lot. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Adios. I want to give a big shout out to our Cafecito members: Christopher Michael, Ruby Brockenberry, Brianna L., Michael Lee, Regulation D, Hanko Juan, Christine Mache, Washti Bader, Formula Air, JSE, Alan K., James Torma, Sherry Davis, Rich G., and Judy Baldock. Thank you to all of our Cafecito members. If you want to support this channel and buy me a cup of coffee, please check out the Cafecito membership by clicking on the join button down below. Muchas gracias.